Welcome back, and this is our final workshop, and I'll be talking to you about the last stage of your thesis writing, which is stylistic editing. How do I do style editing? Well, you edit into chunks, you edit for correctness, and you edit for format. Think of a paragraph or sentence or section as a step in your argument. Make sure each one progresses your thinking in a logical way. Most academic sentences should be 20 to 45 words long, unless you need more to keep all the information together. Paragraphs are typically 200 to 500 words long, but they can be shorter, especially if they are signpost paragraphs that we talked about earlier, summarising what you've just said or are about to say. The important thing is to make sure your chunks match their content, the point you are trying to make. The length of your chunks should also be consistent across your thesis. Editing for correctness is also called copy editing. You are now at this stage looking for spelling and grammar errors. This is perhaps the hardest task for a non-English speaker. It's hard enough for an English speaker, but these rules are different across languages. For example, syntax, tenses, pronouns, and passive voice are different in English and Indonesian. Be aware of these major language differences. And they can be helpful when you're editing at this stage. As a second or third language speaker, you may have to allocate more time, you probably will, for this part of the editing process. This can be frustrating because you want to get to the end, but it can also be very instructive. It can form its own small research exercise for you that won't be wasted if you intend to keep researching and writing in English. You can identify any patterns in your own language use or writing that you can note for next time or for later chapters. As a professional researcher writing in English, you are going to need to become practiced in self-editing, as I said earlier. Peer reviewers will be like examiners. They will want to see the prose flow, so they can focus on your ideas and not be interrupted by small stylistic mistakes. Spelling is different depending on which version of English you are using. Find out from your supervisor which type of English you should be using. Journals with an international authorship will often accept and publish in the spelling of the author. But you need to comply here with what the expectation of your examiners will be. You will have to follow other rules, like making sure each sentence contains a verb. Grammarly could be your best friend at this stage, but like all software, it's no substitute for your keen eye. Formatting is one of the final pieces of editing work you'll do. This includes font type and size, spacing and margins, alignment, figures and tables, page numbers, quote indentations, etc. These rules will be defined by your university again. My final point is to stress the time you need to allow for this final stage of editing. Even though it's at the end and you really want to finish, you will need to be patient and disciplined in this editing process. Remember, don't annoy your examiner with small spelling or typographical errors that you could have easily eliminated. It will take much longer than you think, and it's as important as your important ideas. So with that, we've come to the end, but also the beginning of your important and unique social contribution through your own research. Don't underestimate what you're doing, how hard it is, and also the value of it, the potential value of it to wider society and the audience you are writing to. It's worth all of your blood, sweat and tears. I wish you all well for your research journey and your writing journey. I'm sure you will get to the end of it and be very proud of yourselves, as your examiners and your supervisors will be proud of you. So good job and good luck.